All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Welcome back. Happy New Year. It's the new year. It's a lot to cover. You miss one day of news, and all hell breaks loose. That was kind of a rhyme. But good to see y'all. All right, people coming in. I don't know. It's been a weird, like the fact that the Christmas and New Year's fell in the middle of the week. Maybe it's just this way every year. I don't know. It just feels like absolutely nothing is happening or getting done as far as like daily stuff. I guess maybe the earth can rejoice in that. But I don't know. I seem to remember other years. Stepping on my own cord. It seems like other years it's like people celebrate the holiday and then go back to work, or they're working right up to the holiday or something like that. But it just seems like this year everybody's just like taking all the time off before the holiday and after the holiday, so nothing's happening. And it's fine. It's just a really, it's been one long weekend. It's been like a 2-week weekend where everybody's just like, no, I don't know. I'm not doing shit. But the domestic terrorists are busy. I think they're called the FBI. I don't know. Oh. All right. Well, let's start out with this. This was Whitney Cummings was allowed on CNN during the New Year's Eve thing, and she told some pretty, I don't know, truth-filled jokes that might be surprising that they were allowed to be aired on CNN, but kind of funny. The jokes were on. Even though everybody, it seemed like there was a collective what from the audience. Here's a couple of clips. Cummings, here, we'll just listen.
2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright. Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer. or Moderna, whichever one's. Oh God,
Yeah.
Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No!
All right. Yeah, those
2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold.
Here's one more clip from her. Seemingly a little nervous to say this on CNN, I guess.
Let me be clear though. 2024 was not only negative. The media wants us to believe this country is so divided, but we actually came together a lot this year. Like as a nation, we unanimously agreed that we would rather see J-Lo in a toxic relationship than in concert. We all agree the government totally knows what drones are and are telling us. The drones are still up there, and we have no idea what's behind them. No idea. I mean, they're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out that they were made by Boeing. The point is, I think we all agree on a lot of things. And since I only have a minute left live on establishment media, why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know that they'll never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump shooter didn't have any silverware in his house. No one thought that was weird? Okay, are we still rolling? Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia put money into Disney, so just know there won't be any girl characters in the next Cars movie. Are we still rolling? This is wild. The why have so many presidents' chefs died? Weird. Boy Scout of America, they renamed itself Scouting America. You know how else changed their name? Sean Combs. Just saying. Let's learn something in 2025. I can't believe you guys are still letting me go. This is amazing. I love CNN. Please stop me, Andy, because I will just keep going.
Happy.
Okay. Yeah. More revelation of the method, I guess, from the mainstream media. But they're even allowing themselves to criticize their preferred party, or people to come on this station and criticize their preferred party. But who knows? I don't know. It was decently funny jokes. But this is a even better statement from this gentleman about the state of the world and capitalism. Here we go.
What is your hottest political take?
It's entirely possible to provide food, clothing, shelter, housing, education, and medical care for every human being on the planet without fighting a war or ripping anybody off or handing over control of yourself to someone else.
I completely agree. That's a good one. And it shouldn't
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
be controversial to say that.
But
It shouldn't be controversial to say that. No, this is actually, if you want to become persona non grata on the internet or anywhere, just say that, capitalism as it exists shouldn't exist. Capitalism as it exists shouldn't exist. Or that everybody should be, fed and housed and given medical care. Or that maybe most of the corporations on the planet should be broken up and scattered to the winds, just like the CIA and the FBI. But all these agencies and entities work for the corporations. They don't work for you. They're not interested in keeping you safe. National security means operational security for the corporations that run the nation. So that's really who, they're just thugs, basically. That's about it. And they seem to be ramping something up right now at the beginning of the year. But while we're on the subject of homelessness shot up by a third under Biden and is now at a record high according to new data. This is what everybody has been seeing and saying, even though they tried all year long to tell everybody the economy was better than ever, that there were more jobs than ever, that, famously Gavin Newsom saying that they're they're winning in the war against homelessness, but if you just are alive in California, you know that there's more homeless than ever. Anyways, but but there are many factors, obviously, that are involved in this. But 771,000 people are homeless, according to official data. I would estimate it's way more than that. It's way more than that. The Amish are building tiny homes for people in North Carolina. Apparently, FEMA told them to stop, or the government told them to stop building homes. And good on the Amish. They said they flipped on the bird and kept on making homes. According to locals in Boone, North Carolina, the feds are telling the Amish not to build any more tiny homes. The Amish are ignoring these demands and are cranking them out with more planned for January 2025. Okay. That's awesome because there are still a lot of people without houses there. All right, so the big news was that there were a couple of what people are calling terror attacks over the last couple of days. Tesla Cybertruck explodes in front of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, killing the driver, injuring others. And but there's a lot kind of immediately coming out about both the where's the footage of the there's footage of the attack in New Orleans too. Hold on one second. Don't know if I have it super at the ready. Where are we? Do I have it super at the ready? Hold on. Thought I did. What's becoming apparent kind of immediately is that these attacks are not. They seem to be both the guys are military people. They both were at the same base, military base. This is footage from the New Orleans attack. They're both, brandishing. One was brandishing an ISIS flag, which come on now. Well, if you understand, and everybody understands, I feel like it's common knowledge now that America created ISIS, we created, or Israel created ISIS, or we both created ISIS together because, it was a team effort and all that kind of stuff. Right. So they're trying to, and the other one exploded in front of a Trump hotel. I guess I don't know what that means. Again, I feel like everything is a psyop these days. It's just one huge psyop. A lot of people claiming that they're gonna, they've been doing all manner of weirdness before Trump takes office, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is because they're afraid of Trump," or maybe this all works to Trump's favor. I think everything about his campaign, including Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and everybody behind his campaign, it's just his campaign was one big psyop. But the Democrats were not interested in and making it a contest. They were just interested in laundering more money before they left office. Here's some sabby sabs. So there's a lot of things that kind of unfolding about this, and we'll try and go through it quickly. Sabby Sabs, there's now a mass shooting in New York. Think about all the events that happened in the past 48 hours. Then watch this. This is James Lee. James Lee putting in some good work lately.
The New York Times is reporting that the suspect who plowed through crowds in New Orleans today, killing at least 15 people, was carrying an ISIS flag, and that the international terrorist group may have played a role in the attack. Reuters is reporting that this man, the suspect, Shamsuddin Jabbar, quote, may have had help. Well, what kind of help could we be talking about? Could it have been an elaborately orchestrated FBI sting, where the FBI provided all the necessary tools, the weapons, the bomb, maybe some money? Could it have been an entrapment operation gone wrong? The FBI would never prey on vulnerable people by luring them into fake terror plots. No way could undercover FBI agents help an autistic teen plan a trip to join ISIS. The US government would never spend $500 million creating fake Al-Qaeda propaganda videos. Would the FBI have created an actual terrorist? I'm obviously kind of half joking a little bit, but the fact that I can semi-legitimately ask these questions with receipts tells you everything that's wrong with the current state of the FBI and the US government.
Yeah, so what people are pointing out pretty quickly around these attacks is that both these guys are military or ex-military. They seem to be trying to they're trying to create some kind of, they're in league with the terrorists. Is this an attempt to gin up or drum up sentiment for going to get the terrorists, or get people on the side of like, well, we got to stop these. But who is still under the assumption that ISIS is really the enemy, or that ISIS isn't created by us to be a fake ass enemy? I don't know. It seems pretty out there that this is probably an FBI/CIA, basically false flag operation. I mean, come on, what else would you call it? It's a bunch of bullshit is what it is. And with the attempt to try to get people on the side of, well, again, this is how they manufacture consent, is create a problem. The news stories, the news companies in conjunction or in league with the government go, oh, this is such a problem, we've got to do something about this. And they just pass the hot potato back and forth between each other and make it a problem. Whether you don't even need people to agree or not, right? You don't need the regular American people to go like, well, yeah, certainly we got to do something. You don't even need the complicity of the American people. You just need the news and the government to just pass this hot potato back and forth until they, oh, here we go, we got to do something. And that's how you manufacture consent. You don't even need the consent. You just manufacture some shit and then react to it as if people care. Like, when I feel like most people, if you're not completely like asleep in this world right now, and if you're not absolutely completely asleep at the wheel, and there are a lot of people that are asleep at the wheel, so human ignorance knows no bounds. And sorry, but that's true. Human ignorance and whatever. Oh, what's happening? There's so much of that out there in the world. But I feel like anybody who is even a quarter of the way awake to what's going on in the world understands this is a bunch of bullshit, that ISIS is a bunch of bullshit, that ISIS is basically an American-made problem, or Israeli-made problem. And most people who have any kind of knowledge about anything are going to be like, no, fuck this. Like, this is just this is nonsense. Whatever. They're going to try. They're trying anyways. Here we go. More from Sabby Sabs. The media will instill fear in the American people that we are under attack. The U.S. government will advocate for more war. I can hear now. We must stop the threat. Get ready, folks. This attack has Mossad vibes. Sure. Mossad, CIA, FBI. It's all the same thing. They're all the same.
I can't answer that.
Just a final question here for not just people in Louisiana that are watching, but people coast to coast that are watching tonight. Are you getting the sense that there's any threat of any other potential attacks tonight on any other major cities?
I can't answer that. I can, but I won't.
Is New Orleans safe tonight?
Yes, but we're still in the process of tightening up security. We're still in the process of doing everything that we possibly can. The governor's called out the National Guard. We've got more FBI coming. We've got Homeland Security people. We've got state troopers who've done an awesome job. We've got the NOPD. We're doing everything we can. But like I say, there's a lot of information out there. Some of it's accurate.
Okay. Just a final question here for not just people in Louisiana that are watching, but people coast to coast that are watching tonight. Are you getting the sense that there's any threat of any other potential?
Okay. We already watched that. Anyways, this is their little consent manufacturing dance that they're doing. Yeah, I mean, Denver. I mean, like, yeah, that's the point, is to, as a multi-pronged psyop. The point is to give them a reason to have greater scrutiny over what everybody is saying and doing and thinking, and to try and apply the evil intent to anybody who is questioning the FBI, the powers that be, AIPAC, Mossad, anybody who's questioning any of that stuff. The intent is to try and paint people that paint everything that I just said with, like, oh, well, that clearly you're in league with Hamas or some idiotic, lame-brained bullshit like that. But that's what they're going to try and do. That's what they're trying to do. Clearly you're an anti-Semitic. It's just absolute nonsense. Let's see. We'll keep going on here. There's a lot to cover in this. But as you can see, I'm one voice of many, and the many are saying nope. The many voices are saying nah. We see what this is. So just back that fucking truck up right now, motherfuckers. It's whatever. Like, whoever's trying to run this campaign, whoever's running this shit at people, just back that fucking shit up. We don't believe you. Fuck off. Okay. Take that shit, shove it up your ass. Fuck the fuck off. Can I say it any more plainly? Nobody wants your bullshit. Nobody believes you. Nobody wants this shit. Nobody wants what comes from this shit. Just stop it right now. Just cut it out. Just shut it down. Because nobody's going along with it. Nobody's going to play along. Nobody's going to let you keep going with this shit. Okay? Do you understand that? Jesus Christ. Matthew Livelsberger, 37, identified as the driver of the Cybertruck that exploded in Las Vegas, is listed on LinkedIn as an operations director and intelligence manager with special forces experience. Okay. Special forces experience, Green Beret. Okay. So you're telling me this isn't some kind of operation by the U.S. government on U.S. soil? Come on, man. It's just so freaking obvious. You guys aren't that good, man. You're just not that good. You're not that smart. You're just so, like, plainly stupid. Bumbling fucking assholes that are, hurting, interested in hurting people in order to run whatever stupid fucking operation you're trying to run. It's just so fucking lame. Sorry for all my cursing, but I hate, I'm so pissed off by this shit. Two separate attacks involving cars running from the same company in the span of 24 hours involving two men who worked with the U.S. military. Okay. Doy doesn't, it doesn't look anymore. You guys are dumb. You guys are just dumb. Remember when the people used to show up in the chats and they'd be all like, Slava Ukraine. You guys are stupid. You guys are fucking stupid. We can see it for miles. Everybody can see it for miles. Just fucking cut it out. I hope you fucking go to jail. I hope somehow, somewhere, somehow, people fucking hold you accountable and send your ass to fucking jail. I hope that's what happens. It's probably not going to happen though, because you deserve to be in jail like forever. Whoever's doing this shit deserves to be locked up like forever. Jesus fucking Christ. These people are just morons. Matt Livelsberger seen wearing a Slava Ukraine shirt in this photo, served at Fort Bragg, right? Slava Ukraine is code for we are, you know, we're just slaves to the military industrial intelligence complex. Yeah, they used to come up here in the chats and like try and run stupid like propaganda at me in the chats and at other people in the chats as if like they're real people. You're not real people. We called you out because you're just dumb and you're not good operators. You're just stupid people who think that you're being smart. So just fucking pack it up and go home. The same military base that anti-Trump fanatic and Ukraine military recruiter Ryan Routh visited over 100 times before attempting to assassinate Donald Trump, if that was even a real thing. It also happens to be the exact base where the New Orleans attacker served. So the New Orleans attacker and this guy are both connected to Fort Bragg. Okay. Boy. Yeah. I mean, how long did it take for everybody to dissect that? About 3 seconds. That's how lame these guys are. It took about 3 seconds for everybody to go like, oh, look, hey, these guys are military guys. Whatever. Again, yes, I'm sorry that I was cursing and cussing, but it just, there is absolutely no need for this stuff, man. It's just such a waste of time. It's a waste of everybody's time and energy. It's just a waste of time. Dude, like there are real issues going on in the world. Like people need help and people need to, like we need to go forward with humanity and just stop wasting time on this absolute nonsense. One more time, 2 U.S. military veterans rented cars from the same company on the same day to commit ISIS-style terrorist attacks 2,000 miles apart, and I'm supposed to be upset with Iran. What is happening? That's from Clint Russell. Yeah, whatever. This is just obvious. This is an attempt to drum up support and or sympathy for something, something dumb. Whatever it is dumb. Oh, they X this page? No. Okay, whatever. I guess that page doesn't exist. What was that? What was I trying to look at there? Oh, New Orleans ISIS attacker. Oh, well, this is from Jeremy Lafredo. The attacker Shamsuddin Jabbar worked for one of the largest U.S. government contractors in the country, and according to his introduction video on YouTube, anyways, I think maybe this is. That's weird that got taken down. They were just showing that the guy was he's an ex-military guy. They found out this guy is like an ex-military guy. Whatever. Soros-backed New Orleans DA Jason Williams is looking to use, is he Soros-backed? I don't know. Who knows? Use the terror attack as an excuse to push for mass CCTV cameras. I think you're going to see change in terms of the level of surveillance in this country. Of course, that's part of why they're trying to do this. We push back against some of that, but when you look at places like UK and other European places where CCTV is very common and used proactively. Yeah, well, yeah. In Europe, the surveillance state is everywhere. Have y'all seen those guys called Blade Runners in England that chop down cameras and stuff? It's kind of cool.
Just after 9/11, I remember a time when I could run from my car to the gate to catch a flight. After 9/11, we realized we need to do things very, very differently so that we can all arrive at our destination safely. I think you're going to see a lot of things change.
Safety. We need to be safe. No, we need to be safe from your ass. People need to be safe from your bullshit. If there are coordinated terror attacks in the U.S., it won't really be ISIS or Al Qaeda or whatever. It will be CIA plus foreign intelligence made to look like Al Qaeda or using Muslims as useful idiots. It will be used to usher in more dystopian controls on population and nothing else. Yep. That's exactly what it is. So listen, man, we are the focus group. Just don't, like push back against this, call bullshit, say nope, we're not doing it. We're not playing along with this nonsense. We're not doing it. Let them know the focus group says thumbs down. Hell no. We see your bullshit. Oh, watch this. Biggest recruiter of terrorists in the U.S. is the FBI. This is from BBC4.
Who is the biggest recruiter of terrorists in the USA? And 2, what would you do if you were broke, about to lose your house, and someone offered you 100 grand? And that's really, the answer to the first question is, rather surprisingly, the biggest recruiter of terrorists in the States is the FBI. And the answer to the second one gives you the clue as to how our story works. Because the FBI have accidentally, it seems, developed a system which works rather well. And the system is, they make up a terrorist plot, they find someone to try and carry it out, and they arrest them for doing that.
And then get the kudos for having fought the Great War against terrorism.
Well, they get all sorts of things, really. I mean, it's quite complicated, but I guess the essential element of our story is that these people are not terrorists, but the government ends up putting them in jail
for very
as
long
if
terms.
They were. Yes, 25, 30 years. And there's a close to 100% conviction rate in these cases. And I wasn't looking for this. I wasn't aware of this. I mean, I think we all sort of have a vague idea that the FBI may be involved in setting people up. But then when you follow the story that I did and you see it close up, it's jaw-dropping.
It's really shocking and very, very hard to believe. And yet the statistics, once you lay them out, are quite extraordinary. I mean, we're talking about 100 incidents of the FBI doing this, 100 known incidents.
More. Yes, I mean, I say it's based on 100 true stories. That's a sort of notional 100. It's in the right ballpark. It's more likely 300. But
300 times, the FBI have managed to pin a crime on essentially innocent people who were just part of some casual grouping, who they trained to be terrorists and then arrested and jailed.
Yes, if I may take the FBI's side for a second, it sort of works like this. You're freaked out by 9/11. You have to cover yourself because you're implicated in some of the sloppy procedures that led to 9/11. So you talk the threat up. You say there's a sleeper cell in every city, and then you go and find it. Now, you don't know what you're looking for. And classically in the FBI, you talk about other people. You look at brown and black people because they are more likely, you think, to be a problem. And if somebody sticks their head up in one of those communities, then you surround them with false friends, informants, who will offer them money and friendship to try and lure them along a sort of carefully scripted program of self-incrimination, which results in that person going to jail. And you will say to the court as a prosecutor, is it better that this person goes to jail or that we let them go back out on the street? And the juries always say, better put them in jail.
All right. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's yeah, again, I'm angry that we have to even be involved in this ridiculousness. This is pretty funny. PsyOps used to be believable. Is the headline. 2 Israeli citizens first to be identified among the victims of New Orleans terror attack. Okay. Imagine that. Yeah, this guy was flying an ISIS flag with a Muslim name, but he was an ex. I wonder if that's why they took that post down, because he's ex-military. He was actually from Texas. Yeah. And here is, did I get this one? I know we're beating this one into the ground, but here's Max Blumenthal, who says, question more, how the FBI helped encourage and coordinate the first ISIS attack on American soil. Yeah, the FBI did that. The man he's talking about was a special agent of the FBI. This is a so they're talking about a plot. There was a guy who was an FBI agent who was working undercover, posing as Islamic radical, and he helped to set up somebody who was convicted of Elton Simpson. All right. The first ISIS claimed attack in the U.S. and what the FBI knew. What they knew. What they done did. Yeah. And they're talking about the terror attack in Garland, Texas. Okay. Can you see that, guys? I don't know. All right. That's enough of that. Well, we'll see what comes of this, but already the internet has pretty much jumped out and said, like, nah, yeah, no, this looks really nah. Pretty much the entire, everybody on Twitter is like, FBI. So I don't know where you go with it from there. You're trying to convince people that somehow this is a real threat or a problem, but everybody pretty much already knows immediately that it's FBI. So again, good focus grouping out there, guys. Way to go. Way to let them know we're not buying any of what they're selling. We're not buying it, and you don't have to. Well, you certainly wouldn't if you knew that it was fraudulent. But man, let's see. You get people revved up to do something, and it ends up like hurting people or even killing people. Well, who should be responsible for those murders? That's why these people should be in jail. For multiple reasons. Anyways, massive flooding due to heavy rainfall in Greater Manchester. They're getting the old flood bomb today. Afghanistan is getting the flood bomb today. Yeah, they are getting desperate. Creative experiments. Yeah, but hopefully these knuckleheads don't try and do something weird, worse. I don't put them past. I don't have a lot of faith in that though, because they are absolutely knuckleheads. They're absolutely the dumbest rocks in the drawer of dumbass rocks. They are the dumbest. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of shit they try and pull. These people are dumb. And dangerous. Why are Boeing planes falling apart? Exhibit A. Boeing engaged $9 an hour Indian engineers to build a 737 MAX software. MAX software was developed at a time Boeing was laying off experienced engineers and pressing suppliers to cut costs. We already know this. I mean, another part of the reason why the planes are falling apart is because they moved some of their construction facilities out of Washington, where they had unionized workers and union protections and pay and all that kind of stuff. They moved to South Carolina, where they could hire people that were non-union, pay them cheaper, and the planes started falling apart. And there you go. That's what you get. That's what you get. Did anybody see this weird thing about lightning striking 3 important buildings all at the same time on New Year's Eve? Did anybody see this? I don't know. They're saying that there's absolutely no way this is a coincidence, because just on sheer luck, the number of the possibility that this would happen just out of sheer random luck is like almost zero. Lightning strikes all 3 of these buildings on New Year's Eve: Empire State Building, the State Capitol Building, and the Washington Monument. Anybody see this? Want to know the chances of this? This is what Grok said. The odds of all these events happening together are so minuscule that they would be considered within the realm of statistical anomalies, or even miracles, or coincidences in common parlance. To calculate an exact probability would require precise data on each event's individual probabilities under specific conditions, which is beyond current available data. It's pretty weird. What does it mean? I don't know. Is it? This is not the Empire State Building? It doesn't look like it, does it? I don't know. Is it? I mean, this is kind of like I saw them reporting this in other places, so. Okay. Is it the World Trade Center? Well, then why don't they label it correctly? Call it the World Trade Center if it's the World Trade Center. What the hell? Somebody says they didn't happen together. They happened on the same night when there were storms covering a lot of the East Coast, which is not that odd for winter in the U.S. The chance that all 3 massive lightning rods would be struck when there is lightning in those places is high. Okay. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else saw this. Anybody cares? Anybody thinks it's important in any way? I don't know. I think that is a Buddy Holly song, Joseph. Yes. I remember it now. Well, King Kong was the reason that Building 7 fell, right? All right. Okay, guys, if you like the show, coming to you for free 99 from Monday through Friday on the daily, bringing you news and hopefully interesting things to talk about. If y'all like hanging out here, having a place to chit chat and whatever, and you want to support the show and you want to see the show continue to grow and thrive and prosper, and you want to do that, well, god dang it, I support you in that inspiration. So there are lots of ways to do that. There are links in the description box. All the regulars are there: Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, etc. Buy me a coffees, Zelle, Ko-Fi's, Patreon, all kinds of ways to support the show. Many of you already support the show, have supported the show for a very long time. You all know who you are, and I appreciate you. Also, Patreoners, thank you. You usually get paid out from Patreon at the start of the month. Have received donations. Thank you, Patreoners. You know who you are, and I appreciate you. Man, eventually Rockfin will pay me out the tips. Who knows when that happens? It's just kind of random. There used to be a day, and now there's not a day. Now there's just just be surprised if you get them. All right. Also, I have some new T-shirts available. I recently put out a song called "Honey," which people seem to be liking, and I don't know. Thought the logo on the honey jar was kind of cool because I reconfigured it to say Sandbloom brand, and I have some T-shirts that say just that, Sandbloom brand honey. It's like a little honey logo, honey brand logo there. Anyways, I got some T-shirts there. If you like those, that's another way to support the show. You can pick up one of those. There's also Black Bear News T-shirts, by the way, if you want to rep Black Bear News. That's another way to support the show. Here's something that's probably more likely than lightning hitting 3 buildings on the same night is brain cancer. If you hold a cell phone up to your head, people who have used a cell phone for 10 plus years have higher rates of cancerous brain tumors, a 200% increase if you primarily use your cell phone on one side of your head. I don't know who still talks on the phone and puts it to their head. Maybe don't do that. Speakerphone is good for that. Is honey a sponsor? No, it's just, who knows? It would be kind of cool to actually sell some honey, but I'm not there yet. Wireless exposure increases brain cancer risk. I think we all knew this. This is from Children's Health Defense. This is old news, not new news. This is old news. So if you're going to talk on your cell phone, definitely just try and do speaker or something. And I've heard not great things about the Bluetooth speakers or any kind of I guess the best headphones are the wired headphones, not the wireless headphones, if you're going to do a headphone thing. But keep that cell phone out of your pocket and away from your brain. Okay? Let's see. And here's more talking about ISIS is Mossad and or the U.S. Intelligence, they're kind of one and the same. ISIS is Mossad, no hyperbole intended. Let's listen to this.
Subversion, subversion, trying to foil plots against the state of Israel, political plots and others.
You tell the story about how you tried to find out what they call the Mossad when they deal with publicly?
I thought it was a reasonable question, but the trouble is you can't pick up the phone book. There's no Langley in Israel that you can look up, CIA, or in our case, the Mossad. We thought we should ask, what shall we call it in English? You can translate the Hebrew words. As I said, Mossad is institute. But when they write a letter to their friends in the CIA or the British intelligence, what do they call themselves? It took a while. It was a matter of asking the Prime Minister's spokesman. The best you could do, because officially the Mossad is under the Prime Minister's office. And I think he sort of wondered why you want to know and all that, so we explained. And he came up with the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. I mean, if it were to have initials, it would be ISIS. Just simple words like that. Interestingly enough, kind of a British model.
There you go. If you didn't know what ISIS actually stood for, doesn't everybody know now? I mean, after the whole thing in Syria, isn't it, they pretty much just said, oh, peekaboo, it's us. They pretty much said it's us. I mean, they're telling you out in the open what's going on. Never forget that when WikiLeaks released over 500,000 U.S. diplomatic cables going back to 1979, Julian Assange came to one chilling conclusion: the CIA created ISIS. There you go.
Moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province. As I've said before, this aspect of our strategy was moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from
We're training ISIL forces. Say what? All right. Jimmy Dore explained to you why Jimmy Carter was not great of a president. He was neoliberal, Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission. I know people are out there going, Jimmy Carter was such a good man. No. I mean, he was a nice guy and stuff. But he deregulated the trucking industry. Trucking wages are now half of what they were in 1980. He also endorsed NAFTA and China, PNTR. Let's listen.
Jimmy Carter was a terrible president, and he's wildly overrated as an ex-president. He endorsed NAFTA and China PNTR. He's beloved by some parts of the left because he S-talked America in a way they appreciate. We've slashed regulations and put free enterprise back into airlines. So if you like the flying experience today, you should thank President Carter. He also did that to trucking. Trucking wages are like half of what they were in 1980, thanks to Jimmy Carter. So that's why being a trucker isn't a well-paying job like it used to be. Just like the railroad, it's the glue that holds capitalism together, and they don't care. And Jimmy Carter did that. He deregulated the trucking industry. We slashed regulations and put free enterprise back into airlines, trucking, and banks. And we're now doing the same for the railroads. And you saw what happened to the railroads, right? They can't even get a sick paid day off. This is the greatest change in the relationship between government and business since the New Deal. That's Jimmy Carter. So the reason when you fly on an airplane and they charge you to bring on a carry-on, you can thank Jimmy Carter. And the snack bag is the size of a pack of playing cards. You could thank Jimmy Carter. And only one ass cheek fits in the airplane seat to begin with. You can thank Jimmy Carter. He signed a major rail deregulation bill. This is the act of the capstone of my efforts over the past 4 years to get the federal government off the backs of private industry. He also said, I realize that most people looking at Jimmy Carter see a nice man who did a lot of charity, but I'm focused on what he did as president on political economy. It was ugly, and he didn't stop. He endorsed NAFTA and China. Wait till you hear what Carter administration did in the meatpacking industry. He made it easy for the meatpacking industry to consolidate and screw over its workers, which is why it's all staffed by immigrants and illegal immigrants, because you can pay them less and they can't unionize. Jimmy Carter, although he was a good ex-president, it was him making up for his guilty conscience. He was a neoliberal on steroids. He funded his own genocide, just like Joe Biden.
There you go. Just a little backstory on the really nice Jimmy Carter, the nice man. China sanctions Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and 26 other firms. They sanctioned 28 companies. It's interesting. They didn't sanction the U.S. They sanctioned U.S. companies, but which is actually, what. I guess that's that if you're looking for the actual target, that would be the ones that control the strings. China's Ministry of Commerce cites the need to safeguard national security and interests. The measures include banning export of goods for both civilian and military applications to these companies. Wow. Hold on. We're going to look at this a little more. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We like to, run around and throw elbows and sanction everybody we don't like. Let's see. Here's from Global Times. China adds 28 U.S. companies to export control list, 10 to unreliable entities list. Actions only target illegal activities different from U.S. arbitrary sanctions, says expert. Chinese Ministry of Commerce on Thursday announced the inclusion of 28 U.S. entities to the export control list, barring exports of dual-use items to the listed companies. Separately, MOFCOM also announced the addition of 10 U.S. entities to the unreliable entities list over their arms sales to the island of Taiwan. In a statement, MOFCOM said that in line with relevant Chinese laws and regulations and to safeguard China's national security and interests and fulfill non-proliferation and other international obligations, it has decided to impose export control measures on the 28 U.S. entities, including General Dynamics, Boeing Defense, Space and Security, and Lockheed Martin corporations. Wow. Following the move, exports of dual-use items to these 28 U.S. entities are prohibited, and any such ongoing export activities relating to these entities must be immediately halted, according to the statement. In special circumstances where exports are deemed necessary, exporters must apply for permission from MOFCOM. A spokesperson said the move is aimed at safeguarding national security and interests. I think we already talked about that. And fulfilling non-proliferation of their international obligations, blah, blah, blah. Chinese government will continue to unswervingly promote high-level opening up, firmly safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of various business entities, and promote the development of trade that is in line with regulations. Huh. Well, we'll see what the reaction to this is. It added 10 entities that have participated in arms sales to the Taiwan region, including Lockheed Martin Missiles and Fire Control, to the unreliable entities list. I'd say that's fair. That's a fair assessment. Trump is bringing back Radio Shack and Sears. Okay. Is this okay? Yeah, Lockheed needs the Chinese lithium, gallium, and rare. I'm going to say this is probably going to be very impactful to these companies. I wonder who else is on the list. They're listing mostly military contractors, but I wonder who else is on that list. I would like to know. Because if you can't get if you can't get these rare earth, minerals and or components that might be very crucial, this could be incredibly impactful. Are they going to list the 28 entities? I'd like to know. I wonder if we can find a list. I'd like to find a list. New York Times. Are they going to let me read this? No. Bastards. Here we go. Maybe here. Economic Times. Are you going to let me read this? Are y'all going to list the companies? I need a list, people. Quit messing around. How about an MSN? Do you have a list? I don't know. If anybody has something that includes the list of the company, because I really want to see what other companies are there. Seattle Times. Will you let me read this? Will you list the companies? NVIDIA is on there. Oh, China regulators have announced an investigation into American computer chip company NVIDIA. Huh. Ban the export of rare minerals to the United States and have taken more targeted swipes at individual companies to expose their supply chain vulnerabilities. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, this could certainly escalate things. If they're looking for an escalation. They postponed the Sugar Bowl, yeah. So how long? How long do they postpone it for? I saw that. I mean, let's just try and let them know that we don't believe this mess, so that maybe they'll stop doing it. Honestly, after I cussed out the bots in my chat several times, they kind of left me alone. They've kind of gone away. They were exposed. They don't want to be exposed. And I feel like other people were dealing with them accordingly. So doesn't mean they're not going to stop trying, but just call them out, tell them to, oh, we see you. This is obvious. Okay. This is really dumb. Just call them out. And maybe they'll change their tactic. Maybe they'll at least stop doing this stuff. That's just ridiculous. Oh, it's today? Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see. Last one. The U.S. government admitted weaponized technology exists that mimics psychosis and schizophrenia. This is from a Homeland Security committee. And they're talking about Havana. We were talking about Havana syndrome.
Guys, if your assessments here are correct, these are very covert weapons, aren't they?
That's correct. There's no entry or exit wound. How they're designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things.
And you guys also said that these attacks are happening right here in this city. Is that correct?
I mean, there have been some that have gone public with respect to Washington, D.C.
I think it was Mr. Grozev said you spoke to a Russian agent who said that they believe that Americans are using these same weapons on them. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Might that have something to do with part of the CIA's motive to cover up the existence of this tech and these weapons?
That is a very logical possibility.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from New York, Mr. Goldman, for his round of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses for being here. Mr. Grozev, I want to follow up a little bit on the interactions you've had with Russian intelligence about these AHIs. And Mr. Zaid, I want to ask, and this is a hypothetical, but I'm trying to understand why our government would try to block information sharing or conceal information that they have. And one thing that comes to mind is whether there's an operational risk to revealing any of the details of their investigation. Is that something that you have come across in any of your work?
There's a lot of reasons why the information might not be publicly released. And I do think that's something we could address more in a classified environment to explain that. But there are understandable reasons why the U.S. government has not revealed much of what it knows.
There's some long-term things that needs to be done in terms of new acts. But in the short term, we need to do things like implement the original Havana Act. Yeah. DOD still hasn't done it. They still have not.
Okay. Anyways, I don't know if you guys learned anything from that. And that whole conversation seemed a little bit on second review. Oh, hello. All right, guys. I think that about does it for today. I don't know if I have anybody to thank as far as contributions for today's stream. I think not. I think it's not. But I'll see you guys tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific, the regular time of 12 p.m. Pacific. And thank you all for hanging out. Thanks for spending time with me today. Catching up on what is going on, what's really going on. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks so much. Enjoy your day. And peace and chicken grease.